Welcome to the Thin Blue Line Outdoors Podcast.
This pig came bottling.
Just ended up puking last night. It sucked.
Whoa! Ah! We gut it, we wrap it in tinfoil, throw it over the fire.
All right, everyone, it's Thin Blue Line Outdoors Podcast, episode 68. I'm here with returning guest, Matt and Nicole. They were tied and actually were in the lead with our highest listened to podcast. Right now, one guy's ahead of you by one view on that podcast.
We'll beat it this time.
Yep. That was podcast 25. If you guys want to go and listen to that one. But Matt and Nicole are, I believe, our only couple that hunt together on the brand, on the channel. I think everybody else, wives just tolerate us, to be honest with you. But I know you guys had a interesting season, I would put it, for deer season.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let those two take it from here. I don't care who goes first. And I'll interject with some questions here and there.
Yeah.
And have at it, Matt and Nicole. Talk about your guys' deer season.
Yeah, I can lead us off here.
Mm-hmm.
Starting off, I'm trying to remember, October we had a couple weddings, so we didn't hunt a whole lot early on in deer season. I think I went maybe the weekend before Halloween. Trying to think if anything real memorable happened or not. Nothing jumps out, so I'll say no.
Well, I will interject. I will interject a little bit. Wasn't it the first weekend you saw your big buck?
Oh yes. We hunted opening day. We only hunted opening morning. Yeah.
This close.
He was walking through. Yeah, I can kind of paint the picture here. We ended up driving down. I think opening day was a Sunday this year.
Yeah,
I think so.
Saturday night and only hunted Sunday morning. And actually put Nicole in a spot where I had a cell cam that I had been getting a lot of pictures of going into the season. My number one deer. This was our third year of pictures of this deer, so I know he's at least 4.5, 5.5, somewhere in that age range. So we had a ton of summer cam pics at this spot. I put Nicole that morning, and then I kind of went further north on our property, and I was actually hunting in a ground blind, looking at a food plot, and then like a CRP field. And that is, yes, thank you for reminding me. The video, that is where I had an encounter with, very, very big one. I couldn't quite tell what deer he was when I saw him. Because I could just see, his antlers sticking up through the CRP as he was actually walking over to another of our food plots, and it never ended up giving me a shot. But yeah, that morning I think we each saw a handful of does.
Yeah.
You guys are one of the few groups that were like in the action that morning. Because like the rest of the team wasn't really seeing anything.
Right. And I probably saw. I'm trying to remember. I think I saw probably 20 deer that morning. Now that you mention it. Nothing really super close. I probably could have had a shot at a doe or two. But I think at that point I had seen I seen the buck too. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to shoot doe after seeing him. Just, you never know if he's come on this way. So we hunted opening day, and then we didn't get back down there. I think I didn't hunt till the weekend before Halloween, maybe.
I didn't get there till end of rut.
And then November hit, because we were out of town a lot in October. So did a whole lot of early season action in. So I'll fast forward a little bit into kind of the meat and potatoes of our season. I took a week off of work. That would have been the second week of November. Like the 5th through 9th or whatever that was. Some that date range. Again, I had two real nice bucks on trail camera pretty much all year. So those were hunting them hard. I haven't had any daylight encounters with them up until that point, other than one other guy in our lease actually saw my number one. Ended up actually getting a chance at him, but he was shooting a crossbow and shoots left-handed, but he came over the left side, so he tried to switch right-handed and just couldn't make it work. And blew that opportunity. But yeah, so we had seen him that week. I think it was like a day or two before I was hunting that he had seen him. So we know he's still in the area. Anyway, Nicole had that week was hot too. I remember because I had a friend come up just midweek, come out with me, just sitting in a blinder in a stand with me, and we had seen a lot of deer, just not really any mature bucks in that week. You know, I was just buck hunting.
Is that the week before shotgun season?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was hot. Yeah, for that time of year.
Yep. And I remember having an encounter one morning with my number 2 deer, and I'd sent this message to you guys. I don't know if you remember this. Comes over my left shoulder, and he's a big, tall. He's a 10-pointer, but his G4s are only like that big, so we called him just a giant 8-pointer. He's very, very tall. And he was probably 60 yards from me, facing away from me. So, you know, early mid-November, I got a bleak can in my pocket, and I hit it one time. He picks his head up and turns right at me. Like, between me and him, there's a doe standing in the brush, and she pimped me immediately. She was on me. I was there, so she kind of got wigged out, and they ended up not really spooking off, but just kind of trotting off, and I never ended up getting a chance.
Those does, man. Those does are sometimes harder to kill than the bucks.
Never even saw her coming. She was probably 25, 30 yards from me, and all of a sudden she popped her head up. I was like, oh boy, jig's up. You know, here we go. So that was pretty frustrating with that one. And then I'll fast forward a couple days because Nicole had a story in between that hunt and my hunt. Back in that same stand where I'd seen that number 2 deer. And it was an afternoon hunt, and I'd seen quite a few deer. And then behind me, there was 2 does that were kind of working their way my direction. And out of this, there's this big thicket to the north of me in that stand, and you can't really see a whole lot into it. But, you know, it's just thick and nasty, and that's what the big bucks love. And all of a sudden, I just see tines. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And I'm trying to remember which direction he was going at first. I think he was heading like over my left shoulder. He's chasing these 2 does all over the place, but they're probably 50 yards, 60 yards from me. Like every direction. He's running them and chasing them back and forth. And, you know, I got my bow in my hand, and I haven't still gotten a great look at this deer. I could just see tines. I was like, that's a deer. And finally they run off to what would have been my east and out of sight. I'm like, man, that was, you know, got the blood pumping. That was awesome. And maybe 5 minutes go by. I look over where they ran off, and I see one doe now trotting back my direction. I grab my bow again. I'm like, okay, maybe we're back in the ball game. And now here comes the second doe, and here comes buck behind her. And every little hole or shooting lane or anything that those does went through, I'm clicking because I know he's right behind them. And they never broke like 52 yards, I think was the closest they ever got. And they now run back over to my west and are way over there at like 100 yards. And I'm like, man, I know he's just going to follow that exact same trail. Whatever reason, this deer decided to come just 12 yards closer, and he stops. These deer are probably 30, 40 yards in front of him, and he just stops in the biggest clearing that I have out of this tree stand. And I mean, I'm clicking, 5 times, making sure I'm getting the right range. It was 39, 39, 39, 39. I'm like, all right, put the 40-yard pin on him, draw back, try and settle in, and I let one fly on him. And at this point, I still don't know what deer it was, because I've seen, big tines. Knew it wasn't my number one going into the season, but I knew he was a very big deer, would have been my best deer for sure. No kill. Big buck. Let the arrow fly, look good. Watching it, I don't see him jump my string,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of turns. And what I thought he opened his shoulder a little bit for me, and it looked like I tucked it right behind there. And as he's running off, I only got maybe a third of my arrow penetration.
Okay.
Which was worrisome, but shooting, I don't know, 29, 30-inch arrows. So I'm like, okay, 8, 9, 10 inch penetration. In that zone. And again, it didn't look like I shouldered him. That right away, that was my initial thought from the shot. I was like, I didn't stick it in his front shoulder. Looked like I tucked it in behind. I just didn't get a whole lot of penetration. I don't know if I hit a rib or if I hit that opposite shoulder. I don't know.
Using expandable or
using
fixed blade?
Expandable.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
And at 40 yards,
that should be dead.
Or shot. With expandables, you never know how much inertia's hitting. That. So that I was worried. Texting everybody that's in camp. Big one. I don't know how many points, what he scored. I don't know. It just he was big. I drew back and flung an arrow. Initially, I got down just before it got dark, just so I could go check out the shot site. And it was all tore up. I could see the trail he ran off on. I maybe went 10, 15 yards down that trail. I didn't immediately see blood, so I just I'm gonna get out of here. Let's get some more eyes. I don't want to push him one or screw it. So I'm just gonna drop my bag on the trail I saw him off on, and we decided come back in later. We ended up going back to the house, having dinner, doing something. I don't know. Come back, a couple hours had gone by, so it's later in the evening. Plenty of time. We figured for things to settle down. And maybe 10 yards from where I stopped, we immediately get blood, and it's good blood. It's bright, it's bubbly. It's not spraying everywhere, but consistent. Good blood. So now my emotions go through the roof.
Looking good.
I'm thinking where we might walk up on him within 100 yards. I don't know. We ended up tracking a good blood trail, and like I said, it was bright, bubbly blood. Probably 100 yards, maybe. Would you say maybe a little bit more?
What's that? 150-ish.
Maybe okay, between 100 and 150 yards, good blood. And then it kind of fizzled out, and again, it's night, so we marked, last blood. Marked. We could see kind of a trail that it looked like he was going down. Put another marker, 20, 30 yards up, saying we think this is his direction, and then backed out till morning. Next morning, the last blood that we found that night was the last blood that we ever found. Never found my arrow. Never found another drop in daylight. And we put the miles on. For looking for any sign, any speck, my arrow, anything. So I don't know. I don't have an answer to the end of this.
That's the worst, man. That's the worst because just no answers. I'm assuming nothing on trail cam or anything like that. Since
No, not of that deer at least. So I don't know if he turned one way or another, and we just never found it. If he buried himself up in some brush and still laying there, I don't know.
You guys shed hunt that usually?
So I'll be searching.
Hopefully you get an answer. Even if it's not an answer, maybe you want. At least it'd be better knowing, no matter what it is.
Yeah, that's the worst part is the not knowing what happened. So that was my kind of rut big highlight. Seeing a lot of other deer during that week, and nothing really presented a shot, or nothing was something I wanted to shoot. So that was a big highlight, low light, whatever you want to call it. So that was the frustrating part of hunting. It happens to everyone. If you hunt hunt long enough,
Yep.
it's gonna happen, and sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. But hopefully you get an answer. Maybe come shed season, and maybe something on them. The biggest thing for me is we never had my arrow kick out anywhere. So I don't know if it's buried
That's
up
weird.
somewhere where he got in a brush patch that we just never saw. And
Do you shoot a Luminoc or Nocturnal or anything?
Yep. It's nocturnal. Yep.
Yeah, you think you would have been able to see that too. So that's weird.
Right.
It was pretty thick in here too.
Yeah,
I mean,
he literally ran to the dead center of our timber, and it's a thick, nasty briar patch and a lot of stuff. So he could be buried up in there.
Gotcha.
So that was the big, like I said, highlight, low light of kind of the rut station for me.
Yeah.
I don't think I went back. No, I hunted a little bit during gun season. First 2 days, I was only going to shoot bucks, and of course, I saw 20 does. Then the last day of gun season, that Sunday, I was like, if a doe walks by, I'll shoot a doe. And I did. Does come by. I had like 2 forkhorns. And I was like,
that figures.
Yeah.
Never fails.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. Did you connect with a doe though later on in the year with your bow?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
It was the Sunday after Thanksgiving when that big snow came through. I don't know if you remember that.
Yep.
I was in the same stand that I was at when I shot that buck, but this time it was a morning sit. Had a group of does come in front of me, and the first time I actually let them pass. They walked by me, and I literally texted Nicole. Wasn't hunting that weekend with me, but I texted her. I was like, "Man, I'm kind of regretting letting those does walk by me." She's like, "Oh, it's okay. Maybe you'll see something else later on." And I'd look up, 30 minutes later, and they're coming back the other direction. The same group of 4 does, and there's 2 real big mama does in there, and stopped her at 29 yards, I think it was. Set of the pin. I shot. She runs off. Like, she took 3 or 4 like big bounds off, and then just turns around and stares at me. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, man, that shot looked really good. Like, again, Luminoc lit up, looked, tucked right behind her shoulder. I was like, man, that looked, and this one was a pass through, at least so I thought at the time. She's looking at me, and I'm like, there's no way I just shot under or over. Like, that looked perfect. And she takes like 2 more steps and falls over. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
There we go.
It was a good shot. Okay. Yeah, she maybe ran 15, 20 yards and piled up. So that was that one felt good. Then other than that, went out a little bit in December. I did more waterfowl hunting in December than you for the most part. And didn't really have many encounters with big deer. I saw one pretty good, going to be a really good 8-pointer, one sit, but other than that, probably just a lot of does, a lot of younger bucks, stuff like that toward late season. So only killed 1 deer this year, but
didn't get skunked.
Yeah. Maybe
we know.
We'll see.
Yep. Well, Nicole, you want to tell your story?
I do not talk nearly as much as Matt. My stories are not as elaborate. I went out that morning, opening day, just that Sunday morning, and I'm one that I don't really shoot a doe early season. I wait till after the rut. That's always been my rule. Unless the big one walks, or kind of the right scenario. I'm the type that I don't want to ruin my buck hunting if a doe's nearby. So I usually wait till
even
late season.
Sometimes when I'm begging her to shoot one early season.
I'm one to wait till late season to shoot a doe.
Yep.
But I had quite a few around me opening morning. I remember texting Matt, and he's like, "Just shoot one." I was like, "I'm not shooting one yet. All season, I'll be fine." Yeah. I don't think I really saw anything big that morning. We had a lot of. I'm the queen of spikes and forkies. I swear. I don't know what it is, but. And then, I took a couple days off work as well that second week of November. I came out and did like a Thursday through Sunday hunt. and it was the same.
It was Thursday night for you. It was Friday night for me. It was Thursday night.
So mine was the night before Matt's.
So these hunts that I just told and she's about to tell are back-to-back days.
It's a rough back-to-back days.
Hours for us. Long story short, I was sitting kind of right on the edge of our woods on a field edge, and it was definitely a rut. They were chasing everywhere. And where I'm at is kind of the field edge wraps around, and there's a path that goes into the woods, and it's pretty heavily walked path, and you can kind of look all the way out in the field. I mean, there's just deer everywhere, kind of looking with my binoculars, and I had a couple forkies under me and some does. It was almost to the point where, like, anywhere you moved, you're going to spook something. And so I kind of waited for all the flood in the fields, and there's a couple smaller bucks. I remember there being a good 8, like a decent 8. Nothing I would have probably shot, I should say. And then all of a sudden I look out, and about 150, 200 yards with my binoculars, I just see a rack. And I'm like, oh, this is what I like. It's tall and tight, which I usually like. It's still got a little width to it. And I'm like, no chance he's coming this way. I mean, he's walking the edge of the field's edge and about to cross over the street. And all of a sudden a doe kind of comes from the other end, and he's chasing her. Well, she spooks 3 other ones into the woods. And then all of a sudden I see him beelining the cornfield. Like, no way he's coming this way. No way. And then so he kind of was coming this way, turned around and chased another doe back in the field. I was like, dang it. So I texted Matt, and I'm like, I'm so pissed. There's no way he's coming. Like, it was pretty windy that night too, I think. And this stand is a little creaky on that aspect. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna grunt to him, because there was another little buck kind of by me. So I grunted, but I had to be careful because I didn't want to spook anything else around me. And he looks right at me, and he darts straight to the woods, coming right down my path. And he's hauling, and all of a sudden he stops 20 yards, 25 yards, if that. Yeah, probably. And he's looking straight up at me. And so I'm pulled back already, and I let one go. And right as I let one go, he ducks down and starts hauling again. And it was one of those shoot. And I thought I stopped him enough. Well, I shot, saw the arrow in him. I was like, I knew I was high, but I heard a crack, and I was like, shoot, I definitely hit the other shoulder blade or a rib. But I saw the arrow, and I saw blood.
She said it right away. Like, she heard a loud crack. Like right when she
and so he goes 15 yards, and I lose him in the cricket. And I know I saw my arrow, and I know I saw blood. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, I was like, we're sitting this one. Like, it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a great shot. Like, I'm not risking this one. Yeah. And of course, I'm not one like Matt to know every deer on the deer cell cams and stuff. And I took a video of him out in the fields, and I'm like, Matt, this one's good. I don't know which one it is. I don't know anything about it, but I know he's good.
Yep.
And Matt's like, okay, so we wait and sit it out. And we go back to camp. I don't even think we looked that night. We went out maybe once just to see if we could see blood where I shot. We did.
Right around where she had shot to see.
We didn't see anything. I don't even think we got a speck. And so we went the next morning, and I wasn't feeling good about it. Looked a little bit the next morning, and I mean, we couldn't even see the path he took was just in thicket. There was no really getting around it to even look.
I mean, crawling.
Like, yeah.
Type.
I didn't find my arrow ever. Same thing at Illuminac. Couldn't see the Illuminac anywhere. I was like, dang it. Well, next week was the weekend after.
It was. So you shot that deer. Would have been the Thursday, like maybe the 7th or 8th, whatever that day on the calendar ended up being. And then the week before Thanksgiving, I got a cell cam pick, and it was the number 1 deer going into the season, that one that I have 3 years of pictures of. And he's perfectly, you can see his entire left side. And there's a hole literally right midway up his body, right in his shoulder blade. And I sent it to Nicole. I was like, "Do you think this is the one you shot?" And she was like, "Yes, absolutely."
Oh man.
So,
he's still alive though.
So we got
exactly. Yeah.
We've had him all season.
And after I got that picture, it was a week before Thanksgiving. I got that picture of him. I've probably had 150 pictures of that deer since. So he stayed on the
made
farm,
it through season.
And I just got one. Yeah, it was like yesterday or 2 days ago.
We didn't see him for a while.
I didn't see him for 2 weeks before I finally got a picture of him like 2 days ago. I hadn't seen him for 2 weeks, and I was sweating.
Yeah.
But I just like 2 days ago, so he made it through the season
with my hole.
So hopefully he sticks around for year 4 on the property.
Well, I mean, he's obviously comfortable there.
Right.
You know? So I think I think there's a good chance somebody will get a redemption shot on him. Hopefully it's you, Nicole. I'm
Hopefully.
rooting for you.
I need a redemption shot. I'm so due, but
Mm-hmm.
part of hunting, I guess, and
Yep.
learn from our mistakes. And I didn't go out too much. I didn't have the luxury of, missing work and going every weekend, like some people. But I was done. I didn't really do much November. I went out maybe once.
New Year's.
I think I went out we went my birthday weekend. I went once.
We went
mid-December.
We went duck hunting. Oh, and then we went deer hunting that afternoon.
Yeah,
you're right.
And then same thing. I wasn't ready to shoot a doe quite yet. Because I know
again somebody's begging her to shoot one.
The very fortunate thing about our property is usually when in doubt, if you're there for a good weekend, you will have an opportunity at a doe. It's usually how it goes.
Yep.
And so between both of us, I was like, we'll be fine. And then it was New Year's weekend. I think we went out.
It would have been Saturday.
Yeah,
30th?
something like that. And so we were out, and I was like, fine, it's the right time. If it comes in, I'll shoot a doe. We had that buck that I missed on camera, so I went right back to where that trail cam was.
Yep.
Different stand, but we had him almost every day at this spot. So I went back to that stand, hunted it a few days. Never saw him. It was the last morning or the last afternoon hunt that we were going to do, and it was probably my last hunt of the season, I knew. And so I was like, I'll shoot it out at this point. And Matt's probably 40, 50 yard. How far?
It was like 120 from you.
120 yards from me.
So we
Same
we
deer.
can see the same deer, like if they come between us.
I thought you were
This spot where we were, and I was probably about 120 yards from her. But I mean, if I saw a deer heading that way, I could
text
let her know, and she was vice versa. It was kind of a cool deal.
Yeah.
So it ended up deer that night between us.
And so it was right when we sat down within 15,
early,
15 minutes.
15,
and that
20
goes
minutes.
single doe walking your way, smoker. I was like, okay. And so she walks and gets exactly 25 yards to put my pin and dropped her right there. She didn't.
Sweet.
Oh, I know. So it was nice. I texted him a picture. I said, got it done.
Yeah.
I said, we don't have to track or anything. So that was pretty rewarding.
No track job necessary on that one.
It's always nice. It's always nice when that happens.
Yeah.
So 2 deer for the family then. You guys' freezer. So what do you guys like for your to get through the year?
Summer sauce. We like
we'll do the
sausage
summer sausage and those like smoky sticks, and then I always do like the back straps. I get them cut into like medallions or something. If we want to do like, I do it where I marinate them and then wrap them in like bacon with banana peppers and stuff. So
Do you find that 2 deer usually get you guys through the year?
Yeah, two's pretty good. And then last year I did one just like ground and cut it with pork shoulder and pork fat. We still got a couple pounds left of that. So we got plenty of deer meat in the freezer right now.
That's good. That's good. That's really, really good. Yeah. And how many acres are you guys hunting again?
We lease 243. I'd say probably 90, 95 of it is CRP or food plots and stuff like that.
Yep.
But it's a good chunk of timber.
Yep. I remember you had told me that once before. I just didn't remember exactly what it was. So I mean, it sucks you guys didn't get any. I mean, big bucks, but I'm in the same boat. I'm buckless this year as well. So I think this
season.
Yeah, it was a tough 24 hours for sure.
Yep.
Team rate.
I don't feel like we even saw as many bucks as we normal shooter bucks.
Bucks,
I feel like we usually have a good handful. But
that afternoon before you shot your doe, you saw a few good ones, but they were 200, 300 yards away from her. But said they were good bucks.
Yeah, I know. See, I think I broke my 3-year streak. I think I was about 3 years of getting a buck, and then I broke it this year. But we got 3 does in the freezer, so that'll help. So a little side note, actually, before we talk to this, you guys said you went duck hunting. Do you guys have luck with the ducks this year?
We shot 1 duck and 1 goose, which we're on a public site that way. We were pleasantly surprised with it. A public site we had never been to. So that was fun. And then I've been goose hunting a few times, and one day there was 4 of us, and I think we knocked down 8. And then I went yesterday, and there was 3 of us, and we killed 4. So
there you go.
Geese. Yeah, it's been
Good deal.
Been pretty.
Good deal. I haven't went duck or goose hunting at all. I didn't go waterfowl hunting at all this year, and we've been seeing some geese flying by, but not a lot. I know season closes here in about 10 days, 8 days, something like that. But yeah, not seen a lot. But no, I wanted to talk to you guys about and then he's coming on the next podcast. It's already actually recorded. I talked about our friend Nate. So essentially, for anybody who doesn't know our relationship here, I guess is so Nate grew up with Matt and Nicole, and I know Nate always told me Matt was his supply of deer meat back in the day. And then he met me in college, and I became his deer meat supply.
Once in high school, he moved on from me and went right to you.
Yeah. But anyway, Nate got his first deer this year, and I know I have the video of he calls me, and then as soon as he gets off the phone with me, he calls you. And how did you guys feel that our little man has grown up and got a deer?
Again, the whole Nate saga this year, especially with the broken crossbow. I'll never forget. He calls me. He FaceTimes me, and I think I was sitting on the couch with Nave, and he's this. I did it. And we were super pumped for him. So that was awesome. Hopefully he keeps with it, man, because I know he was pretty pumped when he got that first one down.
And he did a surprisingly good job gutting her. I didn't know how he would do.
What he said he did say, he's like, I cut the stomach just a little bit. It wasn't terrible, but I did do it.
Yep, I had no idea. I really didn't know what to expect from him. I've never seen him around like guts and stuff like that before. So, no, he had a good deer season. He got that one after his crossbow blew up, and then I know he helped me recover one doe, and then he helped
your guys' tracking dog for like a couple.
Yeah, he had like a 2-week period. He kept finding deer for us. He literally the one I shot. So I gut shot her, and as soon as we parked the truck and got out, we both could smell her. But then I lose the smell very quickly, and he's like, I can still smell it. She's over here somewhere.
She's on the ground.
And we only looked for 10-15 minutes and we found her. No, he didn't help me with the drag out. If anybody's been watching that, but he commentated the whole time. That was fun. And then he helped Garrett, another team member. He helped him find his deer too. He had a good season with the team and helping and stuff.
I remember him texting during route, and he saw a few bucks. If I remember correctly,
he passed a buck.
Yeah.
Never thought he would do that.
Yeah, it was like a little 6-pointer or something. I want to say.
Yeah, something like that.
I can't remember exactly. And then he hadn't seen one in maybe 2 days or something, and he just wish that little buck came back. And said, you had the chance.
Yeah. He said there was a big 8-pointer hanging around.
Yeah,
that's why he didn't shoot. Which I get it. I understand. I was happy that he passed, but it happens.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess I know we got a long time for deer season, but you guys got any plans for the property or anything going into the season?
Fixing stands.
Yeah,
we need to do that this year.
Need to reset a couple stands that are kind of on the downhill side of things.
Yeah.
So moving a couple around probably just into similar areas, just different trees. How that goes. We actually had a lot of fallen trees on our property this year, all over a bunch of like our paths. So we got a buggy that we drive into the woods, like dragging deer out and stuff like that. So we don't have to drag it all the way out. So we need to get some of those cleared up. yeah, other than that, probably just
Not getting
we-
any
we
more
got-
trail cams.
we got a few like water tanks that we use on our property, so we make
Mhm.
sure we're starting to get those filled up come summertime.
Yep.
Keeping up with those consistently is key. So
Yeah.
scouting, we'll do some shed hunting,
Mhm.
move some stands around, stuff like that.
Took some stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely keep us posted if you find that one deer,
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
even find the sheds of Nicole's buck. I mean, sounds like that's his home range. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys do find a shed.
Going on year 4, so I'm hoping
Mhm.
we get our hands on them.
Yeah. Have you found a sheds there before?
I
No?
haven't. No,
Mm.
we've only found a handful of sheds just in the
Mhm.
leasing this property. This will be our 21st season coming up.
Okay.
And we've
Do they ever
Mm-hmm.
burn that CRP?
Yep.
See, that'd be the time to look. I'm sure.
That's where we found like 3 or 4 in one year.
Yeah.
All 3 in there.
Yeah, I went and helped my brother. My brother was working for a guy up in northern Illinois, and I mean, it was like a 400 or 500 acre farm, and he's got the farm broken up in different CRP segments, and he burns. It's all like he alternates throughout the year. Like this year we burn this piece, this year we burn this piece. So I was helping him burn, like it was like a 100 acre burn, and what we found quite a bit of sheds after that burn, and I found my biggest shed I've ever found during that. But yeah, it's cheating, but a lot easier to find that way. But
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yep, a lot easier. Well, guys, we're a little over half an hour now. You guys got anything else you want to add to the podcast or anything like that?
No, man. I think that's pretty good recap of the year. And maybe get out for one more goose hunt this weekend. I don't know. We'll see.
I appreciate you guys keeping us updated throughout the year and stuff. I know hopefully next year have some better luck during deer season. All 3 of us.
Right.
So excited about that.
That trophy back from Steve.
Yeah, yep, 100%. Yep, we'll be posting that here soon, guys. I know we had a big buck contest with the team this year, and Old Man River Steve, he won. So excited for him. That was his biggest buck to date. So yep, he had a great season. 2 bucks, 1 doe. So yeah, he was pretty happy with this season.
Good.
Yep.
So, but yeah, thanks again, guys. Matt, or I don't know if the people know. Do you plan on making an appearance at either one of the shows? Do you know?
I think I'm gonna try for the Iowa show. That'd be the main one because next weekend's Peoria, right?
Yep.
I actually have a turkey banquet.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna try for Iowa if I can make it. I'd be there Saturday.
Gotcha. So anybody who wants to meet Matt, be at the show hopefully Saturday in Iowa. If not, we'll be there. So come on down. I don't remember the booth number, I would tell you guys. But yeah, we'll be at the Iowa Deer Classic, and then we'll be at the Illinois Deer Classic, and then later on in the year we'll be at the Illinois Deer and Beer Fest. So appreciate it, Matt and Nicole, again.
Absolutely. Good talking to you, buddy.
Yep, and like I said, you guys want to stay on here a second, but yep, guys, have a good one and stay safe out there.